So welcome back, dudes. We're gonna learn how to play Manic Depression of Jimi Hendrix. And remember that at the bottom on the description, you have a link to the tabs. So you can get the tabs there and watch the video on the website. And of course, you have some other links to Facebook and Twitter and everything else. So remember to like the video if you like it, and to, of course, subscribe. Okay, so before we start the song, I need to tell you that the tuning is a little bit different than standard tuning, E tuning. We need to tune the guitar half step down, right? Just make sure you tune your guitar half step down, because maybe you're gonna be at home with standard tuning and you're gonna listen to the guitar and it's gonna sound a little bit different and you're not gonna know why. It's because you need to tune your guitar differently. And of course, if you want to practice on top of the record, you need to tune it down, right? Okay, so the main part of the song, the first part, we're gonna do something like this. So that's the first part. We're gonna repeat a lot of this, right? So we go to the fifth, the A string, and we do 5, 6, 7. And then go to the D string and do 5, 6, 7. That is it. So then the other movement we need to do, that is it. We strike the open A string and we go to the fourth and we do 7, 5, 7, 5. And we repeat it 4 different times, just 4 times. Alright, that's the first part. And then the first verse comes in, and we're going to do the following. Alright, so we're going to do that. We have several rounds. This is the first round. So we need to go to the fifth of the E string, and as soon as we strike on the fifth, we need to go to the seventh, and we do a slide to the ninth position. As soon as we do that, we strike on the 7 of the A string. Then we can repeat the same motion but in a different position. We start on the 3, we do 5, slide to 7, and we strike on the 5th of the 5th string of the A string. So let's go with slow tempo. Alright, so the next movement is going to be 5, 6, 7 on the A string. Right, just one time. And then we just go back to the same riff. And we repeat it 4 times. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then on the next round, we need to repeat pretty much the same thing, but we're gonna be ending it. We're gonna end it on a different way. So we start same way. That's the same, and then so exact same thing. So now the next part, which is that we're gonna repeat it 3 times instead of 4, right? So we're gonna do. And as soon as we finish, we do, and that's the 4th round. In place of the 4th, we're gonna do open A string, 7 of the D string, and then we go to 11 and we slide, right? That is it. So the next part is gonna be we do that. So as soon as we slide, we strike the open E string, and then we do second, so the number 2, the fret number 2 on the E string. We slide to 4, and then we go to second of the A string, and we do a pull off to the open string. Let's go again. That is the movement. As soon as we do that, we go and do. We can have a repeat. We already did this. 3, 5, slide to 7, and then 5 of the A string. Let's go again. All right. And now what we do, we do that. We go to the 5th of the A string, and the first time we strike on the 5th, it's a little bit longer. That note, it's a little bit longer than the other ones. We strike 5 and then 3, 5, 3, 5, right? Next, we pretty much follow the same idea, but we start on the 3rd of the A string and we do 3, 2, and we repeat it 3 times. Next, we do pretty much the same idea and we go and do 3, 2 on the E string, but we repeat it 4 times. Right? So let's go again. Right? And to finish this the burst, we do. All right, so we repeat that section. We've already did this, and we finish it on a different way. What we do is we do that 5, 6, 7 on the A string and 5, 6, 7 on the D string. And we go back to the same riff we did before, all right? And that is the first burst. On the second burst, we pretty much repeat the same thing, but we have a few changes. Okay, so now on the second burst, the changes are really small, but I just need to tell you what are the changes. So first, we start the burst the same way. Until that, it's just the same. But then we change, and instead of doing that, we're gonna do. We do that. We're gonna do a series of unison bands. So we're gonna strike, and we just pick the open A string, and we go to the 7th of the 3rd string, the G string, and to the 5th of the B string, and we need to strike both at the same time. Now, after we do it, we need to do a bend, but we do it only on the 3rd string. And on the 5th, we just leave it there, right? But they both strings need to ring. And we repeat the same motion twice. That is the movement. So we do this 4 times. Next, same idea. And again, we repeat the same, but this time we do it 3 times. And to finish, just like we did with the other burst, we strike the open A string and we strike the open D string. And this one is optional, right? You can still do 7 of the D string just like we did before. And then we slide. Go to 11 and slide. You can slide from the 14th or whatever, where you want to, whatever you want to slide. But we need to slide somewhere. So again, let's go again. That's the first part, then the second one. 1, 2, 3. Right? And to keep moving forward, we just repeat what we did previously on the other burst. So that part doesn't change, we just repeat it. And then again, we go to the final part of the burst. This again stays the same. And to finish, we're gonna finish it on a different way. After we do, what we're gonna do is we do that. So we do 5, 6, 7. We kill the strings. We just mute the strings with our hand, and we strike the dead note 3 times. Right? Okay. Then we pretty much do the same idea, but 5, 6, 7 on the 4th, on the D string, and then dead note 3 times. And to finish, we are not going to do the dead note again, and we do 5, 6, 7 on the 8, on the A string, and 5, 6, 7 on the D string, all together, right? So let me show you. and then the solo comes in. Okay, so now let's go with the solo. So I've got to tell you that this solo was really hard for me to, to note, to put it on a tab. And it's because it's a really old song. It was recorded on maybe in the 70s, 68 or maybe 69. It's really old, and when the solo comes in, it's like a big giant distortion and effects, and and it's not really well recorded because it was recorded like 40 years ago. So again, I did my best to get it note by note. It's kind of impossible, so I filled a lot of gaps, right? So still, you can choose to, learn what I'm gonna tell you, or you can do your own solo. This is Hendrix. You need to improvise and do whatever the fuck you want, right? That's why we love Hendrix so much, because we can do whatever we want on top. Okay, so the solo starts this way. So we're gonna do. That's the first part of the solo. So we're going to do a series of unison bends, just like we did before. We go to 7 of the G string, and 5 on the B string, and we start there. All right, we've already did a unison bend on this part. So we do, and notice that when I'm on the upper part, the higher part of the bend, I'm doing kind of a vibrato, right? And we pretty much repeat the same thing, but it's going to be on this position, 8 of the second and 10 of the third. Then we repeat the same on 12th and 14th. And again, the same thing on 15 and 17. Now we do this one time, and then we need to repeat it again, right? We do it again, but we do that. So we do the unison bend, we do the release, we do one more time a bend, and then a release again. So it's going to sound something like that. So after we do the last bend, we can do a release, and we need to strike the same string again and do a larger bend. Let's go again. So that's the first part. Let's go with the second one. Okay, so the next section, again, it's really fast, and it's not very clear on the original recording. So I'm going to play this part, and then I'm going to show you note by note. So we're going to do... So we're going to do something like that. Some parts of the solo on the original track are easy to recognize, but like 50%, it's just gibberish. So I just filled a lot of gaps. So what we're gonna do, and this is pretty clear on the actual recording, we do a slide to the 5th position of the G string, and then we do a little bit of vibrato. Next is gonna be very classic rock movements. We go to the 7th of the G string, we do a bend, and while we are doing that, we're going to do a bar on the 5th of the B string and the 5th of the E string, and we do 5 and 5, of course. After we do that, we go to the 8th of the B string, and we do a bend, very classic rock. Next, that's the movement. It's gonna be, a little bit faster. And that is it. So we go to this bar, and this bar right now, it's really important for us because we're gonna go back to that bar several times. So it's a good idea to leave a bar right here and do whatever is that we want to do. So we start on the 5th of the E string. The first string, the 5th of the E string, and then we do 8 of the B, and we do a pull off to the 5th position of the B string. So it's first string and second, just first and second string. So we do 5, 8, pull off to 5, and then we repeat that rock movement, 7, bend, 5 of the B, 5 of the E, and we go back to 8 and pull off to 5, right? But it's got to be really, really fast. So let's go again. Now after we do the 8 and pull off to 5, we're gonna do that. So we strike 5 of the B string again, and we strike 8 of the E string, and we do a pull off to the 5th of the E string. I told you the bar was really important for us right now. So again, 5 of the B, 8, pull off to 5, and we repeat the same movement 3 times. After we do that, we kind of repeat the same thing, but on a different position. We go back again to the 5 of the B string, and then 7 of the E string, and pull off to 5. You know, it's pretty much the same, but, you know, different position. So let's go again. As soon as we do the pull off, we do 5 of the B, 5 of the E, and we finish on the 8 of the B string doing a tiny, tiny bend, right? So it's kind of a like, something like that. So after we do that, we're gonna do something, and it's gotta be really fast. So we're gonna do something like that. So when we finish on the 8 of the B string with that, you know, partial or maybe tiny bend, we have to go back to that bar again to make a reference to that bar. And we do 5 of the E, back to 8 of the B string, and pull off back to 5. Then we do 7 of the G string, and now we're gonna go back to the B string, to the 5 of the B, and we do 5, hammer on to 8, pull off back to 5. Then we do 7 of the G, back to 5 of the B, and now we need to go back to the G string, and we are not gonna go back to the B string. We go to the G, and we do 7, pull off to 5, 7 of the D string, the 4th. Then we repeat the same movement, 7, pull off to 5, and we go back again to 7 of the D string. And to finish, we're going to do 5 of the G string, we do 7, slide to 9 on the D string, we do 7 on the G, 9 on the G, and to finish we're going to do 8, hammer on to 10, back to 8, and then we do that. So we go to the 10th of the E string, we do a bend, we just kill it, and we do the release, and notice that, you know, we are killing it. And then we go to 10 of the B string, and we finish there. I know it is, you know, confusing, but again, you know, it's a great lick. So, okay, let me play it in a slow tempo. It's gonna be something like that, all right? Again, you don't have to exactly do something like this. Maybe you want to do something else, I don't know, something like... something like that, you know, whatever. You just need to improvise there. But we're gonna finish on that part. And then, of course, the next section comes in. Okay, so the next section is gonna be... we're going to start there. We're going to do on the 15th, we're going to strike, do a tiny bend, and then, you know, do the release and strike 15 again. That is it. Now the next part, again, on the original track, is a little bit of a blur. So we're going to do something like... so that final part on the original track is very clear. But we're gonna do something like this. You can, of course, listen to the original record. So after we do the bend and the release on the 15, we need to go to 17th of the E string. And we do that movement. We strike the 17, and then we do a pull off to the open string. We do it kind of like 4 times. Then we need to go to the 20 of the B string, we do a bend, and 17 of the E string, and we do that motion twice. You know, very classic rock movement and blues movement. And then again, we're gonna do something like this. We strike on the 20, pull off, and everything is gonna be on the B string. So 20, pull off to 17 on the B string, and then 19 on the G string on the 3rd. and we repeat the same movement like 3 or 4 times. You know, depending on how fast you're going. And then we just change that and we do something else. We do, you know, and that kind of sounds that we can hear that on the original track. We go to 19 of the G string, we do a bend, and while we are doing the bend, we need to strike on the 20 and just let both strings ring. And we repeat the same motion several times. And again, how many times you do it depends on how fast you're going. You know? Okay, so after we finish with that, we do it several times. On the last time we do the bend on the 19th, we do something like that. We do a bend, a release, and a pull off to 17 on the G string. And to finish the next part, we do something like that. We go to 19 of the G string, we do a bend, and then again, classic rock movement, 17 of the B and 17 of the E string. As soon as we do that, we go to the 20 and we do a large bend, and when we finish, we do the release and we strike it again. All right, so next we kind of already did this. So we go to 20, we do a bend, and just as soon as we do the bend, we go back to 20 and we start doing that series of bends with 19 and 20, which is we repeat the same motion. So if you listen to the original track, this is very clear. We're gonna do the same motion several times, and on the last time, we're gonna let the 19, the bend on the 19, we're gonna let that ring. Right? It's a longer note. When we finish this, we do a bend on the 19 again, and again we repeat it again, and this time when we do the bend, we need to wait a little bit, and we strike on the 20 and we let both rings, right? And to finish to finish this, we're gonna do something like that. So we strike on the 19th, we do a bend, a release, and as soon as we do the release, we strike 19 and we finish on the 17th. So let me go in a very slow tempo. I made a mistake, so it always was something like that. Let me just start all over. One more bend, one more, 20, and we finish. Sometimes it's, harder to play it in slow tempo because I'm used to, do it or the original tempo or a little bit faster. So sometimes, you make mistakes. That's good. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Again, everything is noted. Like I told before, this is Hendrix. So try to do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's what Hendrix stands for in the 70s. He, just start playing around and do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. And the people loved him, for doing that. So, okay, so we're done with the solo. The next section is going to be the final part of the song. And it's going to be, we repeat a lot of the same things we kind of did, but there are some changes. Now, the last part of the song is going to be one more burst and then the outro, which is the final part. All right, let's see the third burst. It's going to be real fast. Okay, so on the third verse, we start the same way. Until that part, it's practically the same. What we're going to be changing now is going to be that thing. Now, if you listen again to the original track, it's kind of doing something like that, but a little bit different. So what we do is we still do the unison bends, but instead of striking both strings at the same time, we do that. We alternate between the third and the second. Alright, so we do something like that. On the first round, we repeat it twice on this position. Alright? And the next time we do something like that. Let me do it correctly. We do something like that. Again, if you listen, it's a little bit weird, but we kind of know what he's doing. Not really what he is really doing, but we know that he's playing that. So again, after we strike the open string, we pretty much follow the same idea, but we start on the 8 of the B string, and we go to 5 of the E string, same position. We do the unison bend, and we alternate between the second string and the first string. Something like that. And to finish, we go back again to the original position. We do something like that, right? Just again, unison bends on both positions. So again, after we do that, we just go back again to the same riff. And we repeat it again. Just like we did before, we repeat the section 3 times, and then we go back to that. So again, right? Just like we did before. Now to finish the song, to finish the verse, the last verse, we change some things. We do that part, it's the same, and now we're going to be changing it. We're going to do the set that what we did before. 5, 6, 7, 3 strikes, then 5, 6, 7, 3 strikes. We go back and we repeat the same thing again. 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, and 3 strikes. All right, everything is on the tab. Real simple. We've already did this. So now next is going to be the final part of the song. All right, so the final part of the song is really simple. We just repeat 2 different licks, and then at the end there's going to be 1 more lick. And what we do, if you listen to the original track, we do. Okay, so it's just 5, 6, 7 on the E, on the A, and 5, 6, 7 on D, and we just repeat it several times. The next lick is going to be, again, 5, 6, 7. We do that, and then 5, 6, 7, and we go to 8 of the B string and the 5 of the E string, just like we did before, and we do the unison bend, and we repeat the same motion. Alright, so I believe we repeat the lick number 1 several times, then the lick number 2 a few times, and then we go back to the lick number 1 and then the lick number 2. I don't remember that well, but it's between those two licks. And then when we finish this, we go to the final part, the final lick, and we do something like. With that, we finish the song. So we repeat what we did previously on the solo. Bend, unison bend on 5 and 7. Unison bend on 8 and 10. Unison bend on 12 and 14, just like we did before. And then unison bend on 15 and 17. And to finish, we do a slide to the 5th position of the G string. Then we do 7 of the D, 5 of the D, and we go to 5 of the A string, we strike it, we do a tiny bend, a release, and we finish playing an A chord. And with that, we finish the song. So it's something like. Something like that, alright? And that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you liked it, you can put this tutorial into a good use. Just remember to like it, or to like the video, or just subscribe. Everything everybody asks you from a YouTube video, just subscribe, right? Okay, so catch you on the next tutorial.